Hello, audience. Did I ever tell you my favorite color is blue? Today I thought I'd show off some of the submarines I've been working on, and I may finish them, I may not. You know, I go sporadic with my projects, so sometimes I feel like working on them for a week straight, sometimes I can't stomach 2 minutes. It's just the way things are. I've got a bit more motivation because I've got a new campaign with friends running right now. Hopefully that lasts, but with enough tomfoolery. I believe it's time to introduce the Rachmanov Dreadnought. I'm particularly fond of these little back greeble bits that are the engines, and I always like glass domes that look out into hell, so there's that. Notable features of the Rachmanov: I messed with the guns to make them super powerful because I like big powerful guns. This flat gun, I'll tell you what, I'll just demonstrate, but this is the rough layout. This is one of the submarines I would say is almost feature complete. There's just a bunch of stuff I have to do to finish it and get it functional. I'm not sure if... I think I haven't rigged up the engines and stuff yet, but I've rigged up a bunch. No lighting, of course. Well, mostly no lighting. So the flat cannon I organized to fire in bursts, because I really like the way it sounds with the sound overhaul I have. God, that's satisfying, isn't it? I don't even think I've rigged up the other ones. Armory here, which is pretty cool. I like this window looking into the rest of the submarine. I basically want to use this little module I've made for every submarine I have because I love the way the guns look. Big, scary depth charge tubes, because I love barrages of depth charges. I wanted to rig them up to work based on this scanner, so you can sort of gauge where the submarine is based on that. Is the railgun that also fires in bursts. Big delay between bursts, at least. Little sign there. Descend slowly. Tally. You can imagine what that's about, because, yes, the way I've set this up, if you just run straight across, you'll fall over. Over here is going to be where there's more drop pod tubes. Ever since I figured out how to make those, I've been wanting to put them in every submarine I make. Kind of like this layout for the suit lockers. Might try that more. Two separate offices to control two separate tubes, so you gotta run back and forth. We love pointless running back and forth in Barotrauma sub-design. Also an airlock at the front here that lets you leave from the front for some reason. This is the research lab, which technically I put the most time into, but it's also ripped off of another submarine we'll see later. It's got cold storage for samples. There's a spooky containment cell in there that it looks like a big tentacle went to reach out of and got closed by the doors, and now they've just taped it all off. But it's always watching us. Here's the research, a bunch of bodies in here. It's also merged with the med bay, which is sort of this half. Your little surgery room. I love putting surgery rooms behind glass. And that's the sort of lore explanation for why laying in here heals you. Oh no, you're recovering from surgery or something. Security system hasn't been set up yet, I don't think, but it's gonna like let you look in all the cells. The passengers... One sec. Gotta double check something. The passengers that you're transporting will spawn in these cells during gameplay, and they can't leave from the inside, nor can players. So there's actual jail cells on this ship that work. I'm rather fond of that. I don't think I've aligned them properly, so I think, yep, the captain's just trapped in here now. All these problems that occur when you're sub-building, and... yes. You fix them over time, of course. There's also a lethal and less lethal syringe gun setup. The less lethal one comes with barrelism by default. The lethal one comes with morbusine. Hot toxin cabin in the middle. Very militaristic style of sub this time. Another thing that I'm kind of happy to report on is I went ham on the organization. For some reason the glass here is stuck on a different layer. That's something I've probably got to fix later. But there is a glass thing there, look, I can't run through it. A ragdoll, I fall against it. So I've actually put crates with the specific name of what they're meant to store. If I go shift more. I could have sworn that I named them. Well, perhaps I haven't done that yet, but the point is there's a different coloured crate for every material. There are label things up here showing you what goes in what crate. And if you get a wire, you can use this terminal to rewrite them. So if you don't like how it's set up, you can change it. All you got to do is connect the output of this relay to the input of any relay connected to these. See, these relays? And you'll be able to change it. Also comes with 2 fabricators either side, each with its own dedicated storage attached to it. Deconstructors, 2 of them, linked to both of these lockers in here, which contain all this box. I love to hoard, so I added that. Also kind of happy with this descent tube. It's got these glass shields either side to look out before you go outside. Also sort of weak points between the ballasts. The gigantic ballasts. Here's where the batteries are. I think I've got lighting for this. Yeah, I've got lighting for this. I kind of like these, just cathode tubes behind these little chambers for power. Happy with the reactor room up there too. It all looks very grand. It's kind of unnerving. Engine down here. We love our engines that get damaged every time there's a flood. That's why we love the big rig. And there's the dome. I think that's about it for what's finished on this thing. There haven't been any drop pods designed for it yet. The lighting's only half done in here. Yeah, so that's what I've got for the Rachmaninoff so far. I would look at the helm, but there's no way to get up there yet. I never put the ladder in. But I'm pretty happy with this sort of funny glass dome design for the front. I really wanted to do dome stuff. I was thinking of the Disney Atlantis movie. Also, these shield bits are impenetrable. Part of the gimmick of the submarine is it's got like extra armor plates on it. I'm not sure if I'll put them everywhere. I've been curious for quite a while about the idea of a submarine where only specific bits break. But that won't be this submarine. This submarine's more just a generalized warship. Alright, that's the Rachmaninoff. Now what else can we look at? I haven't finished them, but I've got an idea for a submarine that has a second shell. I think there's one in the workshop that's name escapes me at the moment. For it to be more efficient, I ended up deciding it would work better to go horizontal than vertical. But you can sort of see the idea I had here if I copy this laser and I change its rotation. Is rotation, am I blind and stupid? There it is. Yes, turns out I am. So I'll just fix that. So basically the idea of the design is that it's got its own little ballast tank that can fill up or empty out whenever it wants to. It's this bit here is going to be a shuttle that sort of plugs into a docking port. In this design it's got on either side, but what I'm probably going to have to do is have it be on one end like this and then on the inner end like this going out sideways, because the way it's going to work is basically when you push a button it will detach this docking point here and there'll be another docking port that's actually attached to the ship in here like this, and then for this one it needs an engine, so when you undock it will immediately floor the engine and make the pop turret move here, and then the other docking point will automatically dock with that one, and these doors will open. So the idea is I want to make a submarine that is impenetrable from the outside other than a few weak spots, right? Except the gun tubes can be damaged and destroyed, like the guns that actually defend the submarine, and that's how they can get in. So you can have the guns fall back into, if I do this, you can have the guns be out ready to go, or if you want to switch to a more defensive mode, which I'm thinking will probably also boost the engines of the ship, so you basically go into retreat mode, the gun will slide back in to the submarine, and then the doors will close and it'll be, sealed up again. The idea I had for a submarine was it's going to be a research vessel called the Nautilus. I'm calling these pop turrets at this time. I know it can be done. It's just a matter of sitting down and putting the time into getting the design to work. Also, bots are not going to be able to use it. There is no fucking way barotrauma bots are going to be able to process how to operate a pop turret. So it'll be an exclusively player-driven submarine, which will make it very difficult for me to test, because I usually test in solo. Anyway, that's something I've been working on, is trying to get this pop turret design to work. I think it'll be cool if I can get it working, and if I make a submarine that complements the design, it'll be cool. I made this in a fit of rage. I thought it would be cool. I think this is technically functioning, it's just woefully lacking in polish. This is a shuttle, and the idea is that if you're, I don't know, maybe if you're in the middle of trying to play a solo game, and the second you go into the European Ridge because you're bored of the cold caverns, you immediately get thalamus tentacled and everybody dies for the fucking 100th time. Well, what if you just had the respawn shuttle that's like a compact killer mech? And I'm pretty sure this thing is, yeah, its locomotion is functional. It's incredibly fast, and so it's got two little arm guns down here. Which have really OP guns, and then just like the Isolon's got a toggle for the back-mounted guns. That is satisfying, gotta admit. Well, that's one of the problems. For some reason it keeps shooting well after you stop letting go. I don't know why it does that yet. I'll have to test things and work it out. But it's got its own reactor, its own loaders, a small complement of ammunition, little labeled lockers for each class that come with a bunch of stuff in them. Basically, to salvage a run that's going sour. Look, here's the tiny reactor. Look at it, so tiny, so tiny. Yes. If I just tell it to hold steady. I don't think I set it up with proper drainage. It's got like a docking point on top, and then the way actually out is toggle this airlock, and you swim out from this little crevice in the back. It's very compact. Yeah, I definitely didn't set it up right. So it's going to sink now. But if I go back to the editor, I can show you the other part of it. So here's the hatch to get into the back, and here's the cargo. Oxygen generators in here because I didn't know where else to put it. Made it immune to damage anyway, who cares? Yeah, there's a better look at the Terminus mech. I think I even wrote lore for it. Yes. The ludicrously expensive SRM submarine recovery mech are being developed sparsely to halt the failure of vital coalition operations. Considered widely to be far-fetched myths by Europa at large, the sparse few Terminus mechs that exist have done a thorough job at eliminating potential witnesses. So it's like a secret coalition project to just make submersible sea mechs. Another thing is there's collision down here on the feet, but they're indestructible. So you basically can just completely flood the ballast tank on the back, go straight down, and just land on whatever's beneath you, crushing it to bits against the ocean floor or the submarine you're coming to recover. Whatever. You know, basically I just made it to be an overpowered, angry answer to a round failing because it happened to me too many times. I whipped it together in an afternoon. What else have we got? Fish. I might save that till last. I thought I had more. No, I do. Hang on. If I go up to the top. Should be C. Where is it? Did I forget to enable it? I must have forgotten to enable it. Oops. I think I can pause the recording, so I'll probably add a jump cut for it then. Yeah, I'll do that. Okay, that should be back now. I have re-enabled the ones that we weren't using, so I was trying to not bloat the saves of the people I was playing with. This will be a quick one, because I've made almost no progress. This is the Cobalt Cutthroat. This is based on a spaceship from Sins of a Solar Empire. I basically just got the shape down, and then stopped. But I sort of got some of the layout planned out as we go to do something with. There's going to be an airlock there, ballast there, command room there, reactor, engine. Engine has to go there because that's where it is in Sins. In the game, they have two little guns that go pew 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 pew, and I wanted to set that up with the lasers on the front. That's about it for the Cobalt Cutthroat. I think it's got a kind of cool shape for a submarine at the very least. Maybe I'll finish it. We'll see. That's one of the ones that'll take a lot of work. Kind of want to say, nah, fine, I'll spoil you. This one's quite far along. It's just woefully lacking in polish. This is the Covenant of Obliteration. It is a Covenant ship, heavily inspired by the architecture in Halo CE, but a little bit in Reach and a little bit in the others. It's I can't remember what class it is, but it's the one that the Truth and Reconciliation is. And this one is full of custom stuff. So, I sure hope that's not coming through on the recording. That's my phone disconnecting from my computer. If I was a professional YouTuber, I would cut that out. But yes, this one's, I would class as basically done, just woefully lacking in polish. It's even got drop pods. So if I can give you a quick tour of it. I would like to... So one of the reasons why I haven't finished this is because I know there's a way to make custom textures and import them into the game as, like, your own assets. I want to do that and then make custom turrets that look like that. So these are coil turrets that I've rigged up with fuel rods, so they shoot beams. Beam guns. All the turrets on this ship are custom. Should be 4 of these beam guns. They're reasonably strong because every shot from this is considered a rapid fizzle accelerator shot. I think one of the other things I haven't done is set up waypoints, so this will steadily decay as we're playing it. Oxygen generator. Now I know what you're thinking. Where's the ladder? Don't matter. Gravity lift, motherfucker. I have to put a ladder here though, because that's how the connecting to stations works. So there's a bunch of invisible platforms in here that you just hold up and down on, and it is supposed to simulate a gravity lift. It's a little buggy though, it's very hard to get the AI to use it right. They can, in fact they often do. I think if I might be able to get this guy to follow me now. Every time I think I've fixed it, it breaks again though. But yeah, so because of that, you just hold up, you float up. Hold down, and you clip through. Yeah. If you hold down too much, you'll literally just fall though. So you gotta kind of do it at intervals. It's a little chaotic. I'm happy with the design of this med bay, among other other things. Look, there's a little tube you can climb into to get healed. Medicine storage, med camp. Went all out with the designs in here, really. Oh, I can put the vent behind that. There's a toxin cabinet. Armory, which is full of custom weapons with infinite ammo because it's too hard to collect alien resources in this game if you need to start you with them. So yeah, they just have infinite ammo. And it's all the ones from, I believe, the Crazies item pack. It's most of them. And there might be one or two from Bar Overhaul and such. I think pistol's just default. Yeah, you can tell what all these are meant to be. I even changed the colours on them. I even changed the colour of the power cells to be purple so you know which ones are infinite. And that gives you psychosis to use, so I'm just going to smoke the pipe for the rest of the demonstration. You can see these little battery chargers to... Oh wait, no! I didn't make them infinite. I did something even cleverer. I made it so they could plug into this battery charger that's on board the submarine. So these aren't infinite, they're actually just rechargeable. I think the Needler, aka the Spiker, I had to make infinite though because I couldn't make the balls use the code from batteries to make them recharge. But yeah, there's a few extra ones, like alien guns in here to play with. So if you remember CE in the Keys level, the ship leaked a bunch of coolant, so I made the ballast that colour. I think it's kind of cool. Airlocks which lead out to just the drop pod bay, but you can also use them to just leave. Like I said, this one's basically done, it's just really lacking in polish. Oh, the helm has a slip space jump. Are you ready for this? Watch our speed. So, if you're wondering, I have tested that in a mission before, and if you collide with a wall, the whole submarine explodes. The way you'd use the slip space, I'd imagine, is you'd go into the abyss, go decently deep, and then just cherry tap it to really rapidly travel through the ocean for a bit. Now, I wanted to include the slip space stuff, so there we have it. That's a sort of shape of it on this. The super weapons are controlled from the bridge. Look, I even tried to recreate the Covenant symbol. I think it looks alright. So there's first is the Mega Needler, which shoots lots and lots of needles really rapidly. They do moderate damage to our ship, but completely shred unarmored targets. They're even decent against big aliens. Oh yeah, and I also put in a glassing beam. I have yet to see something that can survive that. It can kill an endworm in seconds. Problem is, you have to be able to get above the damn thing. Here's the drone control. This is for the little drop pods, which are modelled after the drop pods the elites drop down in Halo 3. Completely functional. They steer and can be moved around just like on the Nosarog. Here's another thing I was working on. I will go through that in the creative thing, but the gist is I was making a drone that was going to be an engineer from ODST, and you're going to see them in Reach as well. So you can send a little drone along to carry objects for crews who go into caves and stuff, and he would rest in his little sleepy pod in here when he's done. I still have to work out how to make remote control drones that function like that. I have to rip some components from the Vermilion Hope, I believe, because that's the best example I've seen. Engineering cabinet. Here's the storage, which I'm pretty happy with. It's all behind a shield thingy, like the door you see Johnson hidden behind in Halo 3. I was trying to take a lot of inspiration from assets from the series. Here's the engine. Oh, you'll notice custom doors that are made to... I just put a light in front of them that turns on and off when you open and close the door. Here's the reactor, which I'm pretty happy with. It's based on the core from the Scarabs in Halo 3. There's the supercapacitor for each weapon, which smoke when the glassing beam fires. Fuel rod rack, which this green symbol, I guess in Cavendese, that's what it means, Cavendese. Engineering bay, there's the fabricator, which has this kind of funny little design to it. Deconstructor. I think I still need to finish this room and make it look a little bit more like actually Covenant. The rest of the rooms I'm pretty happy with. Batteries. Here's another airlock access. Outside. We're still traveling very quickly from the subspace domain, so I'm lost now, but yes. That is the Covenant of Obliteration. And its functional drop pods, I believe, are at the top here. It's Anointment Through Penance and Baptism of Fire. That seemed appropriate for Halo names, don't you think? If I put the lighting on. See the... he tried to make glass that has flickering lights on it to look like sort of afterburn. There's shields that cover the big shield doors that cover where the drop pods can come out. Same design as a Nozzorog, really. Very colourful submarine. So there's that's the Covenant of Obliteration. That's one of my... I really do want to finish that at some point. Let me know in the comments if I should finish the Covenant of... Anyway. I got inspired by some of the organic submarines people were making. So this one's pretty early on in its development. I don't think most of it is even functional. I ended up recycling the low lights in this room for another submarine. I believe I used it for the Scout Hagfish. Yeah, there's a lot of work that needs to be done on this one. Two engines just wedged into the floor here. I love getting creative. Storage in the ballast, and it's inside these big organs. Yeah, I was getting to work on the lighting, lots of hot hues. Oh yeah, and I wanted to make a deep dive platform because I fucking love those. So there's the office to control, there's that. The idea of this submarine is they turned a Leviathan into a cyborg. It's not completely organic. So yeah, here's the... Sorry, you can hear birds in the background. I happen to like the sound they make. It's been a while since I've looked at this one. We've got a funny mid-bay there we'll take a look at. So one of the things I have done with this submarine is it can feed. As in, it can literally draw power from bodies. Anything trapped inside of its mouth, yes, I know, it's another trawler. I make so many trawlers. Anything inside of the trawler will... Oh, I started making the deep dive platform, look at that. Wait. Oh no, that's a placeholder to get the size right. Whoops. Now this character's clipped into this and is trapped forever. Unless they use the ladder and escape. Alright. So, this is the inside of the Hellmouth. Now you'll notice the tiny detonators you can't interact with on the wall, and oh look, radiation poisoning, it's killing me. Each one of those is holding an invisible, unstable rod, so this room is incredibly radioactive. I wanted to rig up these steam turrets to attack on their own as well, but the steam turrets don't work inside hull. So I remember having to change that. I can't remember if I've rigged them up to fire now and that I've changed this from being inside hull to not being inside hull. But yeah, as you can see, this is killing the fuck out of me now. Dying rather quickly. It actually does kill aliens surprisingly quick too. They're certainly not. And look, these batteries are filling up because someone's being digested in the maw. It only works while they're alive, you see. Yeah, so look, we're getting charge. Now that character's died, they should stop. Oh wait, no, it detects dead as well, so corpses also charge. So yeah, even though they're dead, you can throw bodies into the mouth and it will digest them. That's why the submarine's called the Hellmouth. See how clever I am with names. So, just to give you a peek behind the curtain, the way this actually works is there's a life form detector somewhere in here. I don't remember where I put it. Oh wait. There might be the alien motion sensor. All it does is there's a secret battery hidden up here with a massive charge, massive capacity, and what it does is anytime you dock with a station, it will suck a bunch of power out of the station to fill this battery up. And the only way to get energy into the rest of the submarine is through these two batteries, which are connected to it, right? Sorry, I misspoke there. It will have a reactor that powers the submarine normally, but you can power it off while the batteries are charged and run entirely off of corpse energy. So the way it works is it'll transfer energy rapidly to these batteries as long as there's something in there being detected alive or dead, thus being digested. Because it's outside of the because it's technically outside of the submarine, corpses out in here will decompose pretty quickly, usually about a minute or so. But it should be enough to get a full charge. I was thinking of having this little lure out here, be a zapper. You can see that a lot of this ended up being the anglerfish that I made later. I should probably finish this one. I think it's got a lot of potential. Especially like the organic bits. I like that the bit where I can dock the drop shuttle thing looks a little risque. Whatever that shape is. You know what it looks like. Yeah, I should definitely finish this one. Looks cool. Some rooms are entirely mechanical, some entirely organic, some a mix of the two. Pretty happy with the helm. So I set the helm up so it looks like in order to drive the ship, you have to sit in this chair and stick your head into this weird tentacle maw to interface with the creature. That was the idea anyway. Look, there's also a thalamus brain with cyborg bits and wires going through it. Yes, a regular old abomination. I do like my flesh tech, and these teeth as well. They were fun to do. I was thinking of a goblin shark, I think. Yes, I should finish this one. Oh look, the ballasts have gills, and you have to climb through the ballasts to get to the exit of the submarine and the engines. That was an intentional design flaw because I like the idea that we had to work with the creature's bodily layout a bit. We couldn't just put whatever we want anywhere for the entire time. And I think the only other thing to show off in the submarine, other than just kind of the general design, got a bit creative with the med bay, and did I get it to work? Yeah. Look, if you lay in the med bay, look, there's a verbal Healy machine that glows on you. And it only works when you lay in it. It was a real pain in the ass to set that up. I had to put life form detectors on either end, and both will send a signal. And if they're both sending a signal that they can detect it, thus they're detecting feet and a head, they'll activate the glowy thing. You can actually trip it early by having two people stand either side. And yeah, there's a research station as part of it. I should probably have put the... No, I need the lighting off so I can show it off. Look. I love it. So that's the Hellmouth. I think basically all of it. Okay, turret coverage, but not great. It's got a bit of a blind spot down here. Yeah, I should definitely finish this one. Alright. What's next? Nebide. It's a tank. This was originally designed for a big submarine I haven't made yet, which was going to be the Pillar of Autumn from Halo. The idea, the design of a Halcyon class cruiser in Halo, I think does not read too well in 2D, and I think looks incredibly lame. It's basically a giant fucking pencil lead eraser. So I thought one of the cool gimmicks for the Halcyon could be that it has a bunch of vehicles inside, like a Warthog and a Scorpion. And I thought, oh, what would a Scorpion tank look like if it was meant to be in the ocean? Well, it'll probably look something like this. So I'm pretty happy with the overall shape. Let's have a look inside, because it's got some features that I think are fun. For one, it's incredibly cramped, as a tank ought be. It's a shuttle, so it's all powered from a single battery. So you can't be out here too long. Very cramped ballasts. You can actually crawl further if you drag yourself in, and then you kind of just glide around like that. It's very funny. Lockers for storage. This would probably be a sort of hunter-killer shuttle, a bit like the one in the Rockhead. Where it's more designed to kill things than it is for reconnaissance or anything like that. So, these selfish gits are in the way. So what I might actually... No, you know what I'll do? I'll just jump to them. Because in order for this ship to operate... for the tank to operate most efficiently, it needs a crew working together. So, looks like no, Janie's in the pilot seat, so I've got someone to pilot and also use this, the sonar. You'll notice they have the option to fire the railgun. That's because Joey, who's in the gunner position, can operate the turrets, but he only fires the chain gun, which I have rigged to fire in rapid bursts. It has better burst damage than a normal chain gun because I upped the fire rate, but since it has a big delay between bursts, I think the DPS is about even. I also think it's just kind of fun. But yes, so he can't fire the main cannon, the pilot has to. So the gunner has to, shout out to the pilot, fire the main gun, they push the button. Bang. Now, the turret itself, push this button, here's the loader up here. So to reload it, if to operate it most efficiently, you'd get a loader in the back who slides new shells in from down here, from the rack on here. So now you can enact your fantasy of operating a tank with your friends. If you're really in a hurry, or if you don't have friends rather, you can line up the shot, quickly change seats. Oops. You can line up the shot, quickly change seats. Actually, you can... Yeah. No, wait, can you... I'd have to change that. From the back seat, you can reach the nav terminal. That kind of defeats the purpose of it all. But yeah, I'd have to tweak that, I think. But that's a reason why this hasn't been released yet, even though I think the Nebide tank, which if you want to know, I think is a scientific name for a water scorpion. There's a reason why it hasn't been released yet. Also, this is fuck ugly. I have to change that room. Let's That's a nip a day. Alright, I'm kind of dreading showing off this one. This is the Bellion Spear. I have been trying to make a melee submarine for ages. This is not a functional design. I think it looks really fucking cool, but it is by no means functional. This is not a version that's finished, I don't think, or is it? No. I've made a bunch of versions of this thing. The just normal Bellion Spear might be the one I put work into. LMNOP. Yeah, this was the revision I was making. So, the original design was going to be similar to the Knuckle Duster, in that I was going to have a bunch of gigantic engines that were hidden in-game that made the blade of the Bellion Spear inflict laceration on anything near it. In practice, that sucked ass. It wouldn't even cut anything above a certain size. So I wanted to make one that could actually kill things, and then came the idea of using discharge coils to make like an energy blade. That kind of, you know, it killed things, but it didn't really give me the effect I wanted. It felt more like, you know, we were still just zapping things in front of the sub, rather than cutting it up. I hope this is functional, because I'm hyping it up a bit. I got it working at some point. I need the reactor turned on. No, it's turned on. So, the Bellion Spear... Oh, I had a button to turn the fabricators off so it wouldn't take up electricity, that's funny. Reactor isn't told. Oh, there we go. So you're noticing how you're having trouble hearing yourself think right now. That's because we got free camera. There's a laser spear. I know what you're thinking. Is it lethal? It's very lethal. Oops, I need the lighting. Disable. Enemy AI. Spawn. Roller. Cursor. Infinite degree laser versus brain-dead crawler. Dead. Okay, well, crawlers. Sorry, one sec. That's more tolerable, isn't it? So yeah, it's incredibly loud, and you'll notice how it's causing the screen to shake a lot. That's another one of the reasons why I don't know how well this design is going to work. So it kills the fuck out of crawlers. Well, how is it against hammerheads? Whoops. Hammerhead. Did that work? It didn't give me an error message, so I was like, is Hammerhead Crawler a creature? Will I kill a hammerhead? Oh, is the submarine stabilized? I must have actually set up ballasts to be functional. 1 second. No, I didn't. Oh, what did I? No, I did. Alright. Yeah, yay me. Oh, the hammerhead. Let's go a little bigger. Will it kill? How fast will it kill a how fast will it kill an endworm? He's dead. I should finish this one too. Plus, partially because I think it's got a really wacky and interesting shape and design. But also, fucking, how cool is this? I mean, it's very impractical though. Like, look how much the submarine shakes while the blade is active. You know? Oh, I have to click this relay right now. There we go. You know, it's also got kind of a cool looking design for this rear tube. I think I used this for, I think I used that for the Schizo when I made it. One of the problems with it is, it's a very early design, so it's quite cramped. I know not to make submarines this cramped now. Also, you know, B-52 style tubes to climb up and down in. I'm fond of that design. I used that in the... Actually, I think this either became the Schizo or the Schizo became this. Also, one big ballast, that's such a noob thing to do. Another mercy. Did I actually set up the holes here, or am I about to die? No, I'm not. Not sure what that room would be for. Another ballast up in the front. So yeah, I might clean that up and release it. That's the Pelican spear. That's a reference to the spear, was it Achilles used? I can't remember, but it's like a spear that a mortal used to kill a god, so I thought it would be a fitting name. Let me know in the comments, because I need SEO desperately. I keep picking fights with people in other YouTubers' comment sections, and I think I'm shadow banned. What's next? The Red Ogre Torpedo Frigate. This one will be quick, because it's got barely anything done with it. This design is based off of a design a friend of mine used when they ran a D&D one-shot set in space. So this is just based on a drawing they did, but I kind of love how boxy and industrial the shape is. Oh no. Oh, I must have disabled the mod. There was a mod, I think it's a bit more turrets, it adds torpedo tubes to the game, so it had a rack of torpedo tubes on each of these. That's a shame. I must have forgot. There's not really anything else to show. It's just kind of a big lump. Yes, one day I might do something with a shell that'll probably look entirely different. One of the ideas I had is to have an entire room be a shuttle, right? That's basically the cargo bay, and when you detach it, you can just drop the cargo bay straight down to a rack or something and fill it up and then redock it and start unpacking everything. That's sort of the base design idea I had. You know, you don't really need a mod for torpedo tubes, because all you do is spawn a railgun, set the spawn a railgun, set its trigger to a button, and have it have a fixed rotation just facing forward, so you can just make a barrage of them that way. But yeah, I remember being disappointed with the torpedoes being kind of weak. Oh, not main menu. Yeah, that's the Red Ogre Torpedo Frigate. I might, yeah, should finish it. Should put work into it. Whatevs. One day I will, maybe. I don't remember what the Big Migobi is. Oh yeah, I made a tiny submarine to test if it would work. I don't even remember if I got it working. Yeah, it spawns the crew outside, and only the captain inside. That's funny. these, how do I fly this thing? Well, there is a nav terminal. No power. Yeah, I never set up anything, I just got the design down. There's the ballast. I am kind of obsessed with the idea of being able to make one-man subs, and that's a very early attempt I made. What's left? Sulaco. Yep. So that's based on the ship from Alien. And then I realized that it has a really ugly design, and all the military stuff I like in that movie is carried by the soldiers, so whatevs. I don't know if I'll make a Sulaco. I think there's a pretty good looking Sulaco already on the workshop, so if I can't do better, why would I bother? What's the fist? Oh, that's the knuckle duster. I already made a video on the knuckle duster. I'm going to briefly pause the recording, and then we'll continue with some more, so... Why did I say that? I don't need to. You won't notice anything but a jump cut. Oh well. See you in 5 minutes, except it will be a second for you. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. Shard of Gungnir. This is based off a ship from Halo that I actually think looked really cool. Did I add a description? No. I don't remember what it's called. If I was a professional YouTuber, I'd add some sort of jump cut. But I'm not. So, this one's kind of cool looking. It's got 2 engines. I think I wanted to set up like a sort of auto-sorting thing so you can move supplies from the drop pods, the external drop pods, amongst the ship. Kind of cool looking reactor. I like working with glass. I like putting things behind glass. Slightly ridiculous battery, 4 flat guns on top. And yeah, nothing much really to say about it. I like the greebles on the front, and this little antenna that I managed to whip up I think looks alright. There's not much to it. Oh yeah, vertical ballast tank here. Yeah, I can just tell from eyeballing it, this ballast and this ballast is not gonna... Oh, there's a third ballast. Maybe these 3 ballasts could control a submarine of this size? I don't know. Plan was to put a brig there too, which for some reason can look into the airlock. Why does it work that way? Have it you shut up. Stop asking questions. Honestly. I might have had plans to make a super railgun on the front here. You know, because the ships in Halo often have Mac blasters. The Nebidae tank at the moment was put in to connect here. It doesn't connect well. It clips through everything, but yeah, that was sort of the idea of having a little hanger that could drop things. I like its design. I think it needs a lot of revision to be worth fixing, though. This is very amateur, a lot of it. Could use a bit of work. Okay, I think that might be the last one. Alright. That's the last one that's an actual ship, so we will look at the most ridiculous one, the last. The USG Island Cracker. If that sounds somewhat familiar to you, it's because it's the ship from Dead Space. There are a couple on the workshop already, but I kind of felt like they were too small. So I made something not quite to scale, but a bit bigger. It's actually 1/10 the scale of the actual Ishimura, because it's the actual Ishimura is 1 kilometer long, and this is just shy of 120 meters. So it's about 1/10 of the size of the actual Ishimura. Nevertheless, I got pretty far with this one. There's, I think all the lighting's done. As you can see, I've taken rooms from this ship and put them elsewhere. This is the first place I built that weapons locker. Here's the research bay that I ended up putting on. Ended up putting on the Rachmaninoff. You know, it kind of suits Dead Space's atmosphere a bit more. There's the morgue. I think I ended up putting that on the Rockhead. So there's that. Operating table, covered body. This is too big to be a functional submarine for the actual game. It's more of just like a place you'd hang out with, probably to RP on. That's kind of where I lost a bit of motivation to work on it, is because it's, you know, so big and cumbersome. It's probably going to lag the hell out of low-end PCs just running the damn thing. And it's not even finished, so yeah, a bit demotivating. There's like some nice wooden filigree. This is more based on the captain's quarters level. Huge gunnery, guns everywhere. A lot of guns on the front. And then double coil guns sort of just placed sporadically to try and give it, you know, a relative blanket of cover, though not consistent. Not consistently everywhere. You can sort of see, oh, we've got dorms. Then we've got, it's kind of, the lighting is very moody on this submarine for obvious reasons. Little cafeteria. Look, it's even got a pair of stores, which I tried to make look like they were both designed by a committee, but it's different types of committee. So, oh no, that's gonna get in the way. Yeah, you sort of see. The sort of, you can imagine the people that they got into a room to make these two from the different sub-factions. So yeah, those actually have vending machines placed behind them, so you can actually get, you can actually buy supplies on board the submarine. This is meant to be the flight lounge and then flight control, because I planned on having it possible to have an executive shuttle in here. And I had ambitions to also make the Callion from the game, which is the ship Isaac and his crew arrive on. So if you know, the submarine crash, like, you know, goes to shit and crashes, people respawn on the ship that brings the Ishimura crew, the Galleon crew on board. There's much to do. Hydroponics. Fortunately, I can't add fake bird sounds. Bit of electrical, big reactor. This is where, oh yeah, this is where that room I put on the Rachmaninoff is. Well, so still a couple rooms for the Rachmaninoff. Nice little intimate room there. 3 engines, and it still barely moves. Befitting. Oh yeah, each gun has its own supercapacitor that's over near the gun. So the engineers are just going to be in hell, having to run around and fix everything. Deconstructors. This is going to be an auto-transit system to send items between rooms on the ship. So basically, things can be sent from anywhere to this room, or from this room to anywhere on the ship. The idea is that someone can be down here deconstructing things and also manage some logistics for the rest of the ship. So you've probably already noticed here's also the locker room, which I actually ended up taking for the hammer. That's how old this submarine is. Went really Dead Space-y with the environment here. I think it looks pretty good. It's actually a black square put over a normal locker to make it look like the locker's burst open. What was in the locker that could cause such horror? Here's like the mining room, because it is a mining ship after all. Got all this equipment. You can barely see a blood stain near this ladder where the saw is. I wonder if an accident happened at some point. Torpedo tubes, which were actually designed to use grapple hooks for the mod movable and sellable wrecks. So the idea was you could take, shipwrecks on board underneath this thing and carry them to the station to sell. In lore, it goes down into the abyss and grabs abyss islands and drags the entire island to a station. Rather than having to send a crew out to cut off the little nodes, it just brings the entire lump. Which I thought was cool. Obviously massive ballast tanks, which still barely move it. 2 more ballast tanks up here, and then there's, how many ballasts are there? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ballasts. That one's technically 2 merged together, so there's actually 6. I wanted these to be like a fast dive module, and I've had this idea for a few submarines where there'll be a room that's technically part of the ship, not part of the ballasts, right? And that means that, so I've been able to do this on a few submarines, most notably the Nossorog, because there's actually a maximum descent rate that your submarine can do based on its ballast tanks alone, no matter how much you offset the neutral level. I think the max is about 19 for descent, which isn't actually that fast if you're trying to go fast, So the idea is that if you have a room that isn't a ballast tank but can still flood and drain on command from the helm, you can dive faster than the maximum dive rate. But in the end, I needed to convert these 2 rooms to ballast tanks anyway, just because the submarine's so huge that these tanks weren't enough to maintain its up and down momentum. Big, long, scary hallway in the middle. This is supposed to kind of mimic the tram. I have thought about adding a tram on it, like what the Malachite has on the workshop. I'm scared of making this submarine too complex to the point where it will barely run, though. That's a big concern of mine. So yeah, on one side there's all the stores, on the other side there's, straight into emergency room. There's a waiting room here that comes off of the flight deck, so comes off of the docking bay. Armory's in here. Lots of little touches I added to this submarine to try and get vibe. Oh look, there's even green boxes. Like what you stomp on in the game and get loot out of. I think I made... Did I? I don't think I made them interactable, but I probably could. So yeah, I won't bother running around on it because it'll just take too long. Everything functions as you would probably expect. Turrets shoot. It goes up and down. It's very slow. It's very, 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 very slow. Oh, I will show you one thing, actually. I wonder if it's going to spawn me. So yeah, look how slow it is. I might actually be mildly faster than a dugong. Yeah, I think it might accelerate faster than a dugong. Isn't that funny? Also starts up quicker than one. This is too long. So yeah, I think this would be fun to just like do a sandbox round on an RP. It'd probably go well with, I think there is a Dead Space mod on the workshop, but it's depreciated. So, since it's traveling forward, if we go through the airlock, oh, we're also going down. Engineer, help! Make it go up. The neutral ballast level is wrong. Well, that was almost really cool. Oh man, can it even go up? Or is it too heavy? Still descending. I might not have set those extra ballasts up properly. No, it's going up. So you're just stuck against the geometry. Oh yeah, ragdolled and that got me through. There we go. See? You can buy things from the stores. absolutely massive ship. To give you a vibe of how big it is. Oh. Leaking the reactor around it. Interesting. Look how long it takes to get down the long hallway. The use of double coil guns. Oh, is there a roof in the editor? I don't know. Looks like there might be. Some kind of hidden object. Yeah, the use of double coil guns was because of the original Dead Space, the minigame where you shot asteroids had a gun that fired a bit like this. That's the only reason why they're all double coil guns. Yeah. That one, I guess this is technically functional. It might need to have stuff set up for it to dock properly, and I might need to redo the wiring. But it's obviously just way too large to ever be practical. Like it's ridiculously large. Yeah, like the maximum length I think to be good for a campaign is, I can't remember what it is. Hang on, if I go to save it, it should give me the warning. Yeah, 80 meters. Is it calculating the length wrong? I suppose it might be from hull to hull. I don't know why it's saying it's 80 meters long, that's definitely bigger. Alright, double checking that I haven't forgotten any. Looks like everything. All the interesting ones anyway. The ones I'm not showing, like the Limpet and the Hunted Killer dropship, and the Egrets, that's because those are drop pods and shuttles attached to other ships, which you would have already seen if you've looked at the other videos on the channel, so there's no need. Well, thank you for watching, and giving me the time to show off some of my unfinished projects. May have contributed to my excessive playtime in this game. Anyway, thank you for your patience. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you when I release one of these things properly.